Alright guys, it's Harvey from All Parts. Remember about a year ago I said it's coming where they're going to start making things commercial because people are simply not doing what they're supposed to do. Well, Article 87, Chapter 9 of the Department of Insurance basically says if the manufacturer puts it in their book and it supersedes what the town code does or says, you have to do it. So guess what? They're starting to put it in writing. For all you people that don't do things properly, they put it in writing, and these are what's going to happen is when a mechanic goes out there like me and sees a new heat pump out there and it's not done to code, they can capable of red tagging the unit, which it's non-usable till you bring it up to code, and or voiding your complete warranty. That's why people, you need to read and understand your owner's manuals. It doesn't matter if it was installed by a so-called professional. Everybody needs to read and understand your owner's manual. This is an excellent page. I give them, I've been asking now for the last 4 years for them to put stuff in there, and they've been kind of hemming and hawing. I guess I pushed them far enough where hopefully my input made them actually put it in writing. A heat pump is basically considered same as a heat pump for your house. Same rules apply. If you have a floodplain, you have to follow the floodplain. And there's a couple of other things you have to follow. Okay? You got to pull a permit. Even though it's considered a concealed one unit, you still have to pull a permit if you're in a floodplain. Minimum, you have to pull a electrical permit and get it inspected. If you're in a floodplain, towns may want to put a mechanical, to make sure that you did it at the proper height. But this didn't get this far, but that's my personal opinion. We all know about the wiring, personal injury and death. Hey guys, we're talking about a double pole 50 amp breaker. Alright, so just, you can go down. I'm not gonna hop on, personal injuries. Also, what I give them kudos for, I always was a big person on all these licensed electricians says, well, I grounded it. Nowhere in the manual says it needs to be bonded. All pool equipment, ladders, lights, pool pumps, heaters, all need to be bonded to a common place, and it needs to be brought back to the main service ground rod, usually. Okay, you got to check with your local code. But it says right here that they want it bonded, and they say it more than once on this page. They tell you where the ground lug is, and they tell you where the bond lug is. That's a hint to tell you that you have to bond it and ground it. Okay? And here's another biggie. It's considered air conditioning and refrigeration equipment. Alright? Once they put that in there, you have to go to the town. It doesn't matter if it's concealed one unit, okay? It's now considered a air conditioner and a refrigeration equipment. So now you need to pull the proper permits to install this unit because of this article right here. Article 440, air conditioning and refrigeration equipment. Alright? They're getting themselves out of jams, and it's about time they do. Okay? NEC, design. And here's another biggie. A lot of codes say you don't need to do it because it's not over 50 amps. You're not over 60 amps. Well, anyway, they're saying Hayward does not recommend for ground fault device. Void that out. That's too bad. The ground fault device you put in there. Okay? Local codes strongly recommend that you put in a ground fault. Okay? Nuisance tripping, that's too bad. Okay? You should be able to know about a breaker that's being tripped. Okay? Now here's another biggie. Alright? Now they want a disconnect mounted near this pool heater. Line of sight, usually, within 3 to 5 feet. Not 15 feet. Now, 3 to 5 feet, and I see this a lot. It's, oh yeah, it's only a foot away. The heat pump's outside, and the disconnect's in the pump room, and you have to walk 400 feet around the pump house, through the pool gate, into the pump room for the disconnect. Yeah, it's 3 feet. If you can go be magically and go through a wall magically like Wonder Woman or something like that. Come on, be reasonable. The disconnect has to be visible, and it has to be a disconnect. Alright? They want a disconnect right now. Alright? So you're forced to put in a disconnect. And there is your bonding. Alright? Number 8, we're larger. Reason why United States we're number 8. I think Canada is number 6. You have to check with your local codes. Number 8, bare copper, bonding copper, is what's used for United States. Again, if you're in Canada or somewhere else, you may have to go larger. But it's a bare copper. And here you go. Here's your minimum 8-gauge wiring for your double pole 50 amp GFI breaker that's feeding this if it's required. Alright, 8-gauge or wire, and it's bonded and grounded. Alright guys, this is big news. They actually took the time and put it in the manual. So heaters are going to start being voided out or red tagged because they're not being done properly. They now are considered a heat pump. Alright? Bonding lugs, disconnects, pulling proper permits. Alright? So it's in writing now. You guys need to do it. Again, I am Harvey from All Parts Pool and Spa. I am just touching base on certain pages of this book. Remember, read and understand your owner's manual. I don't care if you would have it installed by a so-called professional. You read and understand what you have, then you go outside and look how it was installed. Alright, again, heat pumps love to see heat and humidity. Take care, guys. Bye.